Because you say vulnerability is a very, very important step for intimacy, for having meaningful relationships. Tell me more about that.
Vulnerability is the willingness to show up and let people see you without your armor on, to be imperfect, to be honest, to be true. That's vulnerability. And most of us think, I'm a fifth generation Texan, so we were raised to believe that vulnerability is weakness.
All of us are raised like that. Yes. I mean, I'm raised in Iraq, and
right.
I was raised the same way.
Right.
Yes.
You wake up, you're tough.
Yes.
You get things done. You follow the rules. If you're sick or hurt or scared, you don't show it. You don't talk about it. And so vulnerability is the willingness to be yourself when you're not sure of what the outcome is going to be. And so we don't like to be vulnerable because we think, well, vulnerability is the center of grief and disappointment and shame and fear. And it is a part of those experiences. But it's also the birthplace of love, belonging, joy, intimacy, trust, creativity, innovation. So you can't have any of those without vulnerability.
And so is that a prerequisite for a meaningful relationships?
Vulnerability?
Yes.
Oh, yes. It's the path to intimacy. I have to be seen by you and known by you, the real imperfect me, in order to be loved by you. If all I'm putting forward is an edited version of myself, then who you love is not who I am.
Can you love me in the perfection and in the imperfection of myself? Yes.
Because what we really want to do is we want to be loved by someone who loves us not despite our imperfection and vulnerability, but because of our imperfection and vulnerability.
And again, in the culture I grew up in, it's actually, I remember this from my childhood, is everyone saying we are all imperfect people, except our prophet. We say the prophet is perfect, but we are all, as human beings,
we say the same thing about God, yes.
Then I was like, but then when I look at the culture, that the aspiration for perfection is not aspiration. It becomes almost like the aspiration to buy the mask of perfection.
Right. It becomes an obsession, from aspiration to obsession.
Absolutely.
Yeah, totally.
So how do we break out? It's like, there is no room for the imperfection. It becomes an obsession about perfection, by the way, from body images.
Oh, yeah.
To facial images.
Right.
To the makeup and the clothes and all, like it becomes a picture that is not realistic.
So there's a huge difference between perfectionism and striving for excellence.
Okay.
So in the research, what we see is that people who are actually striving for excellence list perfection as the greatest threat to excellence. Striving for excellence is internally motivated. Let me be the best I can be. Perfectionism is outwardly motivated. It is motivated by a single term. What will people think? And so I call perfectionism the 20-ton shield. We carry it around, hoping that it's a defense mechanism. If I live perfect, look perfect, and do everything perfectly, I can minimize shame, criticism, and blame.
That's true.
But with a 20-ton shield, two things happen. A, it gets really heavy, and it's exhausting. And B, you can't see anyone behind it. And the truth is, you're never going to avoid feeling shame, criticism, and blame. It's Aristotle. If you want to avoid criticism, say nothing, be nothing, do nothing. And so perfectionism is not about being our best selves. It's about protecting ourselves and defending ourselves.
And the path for freedom for that? Owning our stories?
Owning our stories.
And what does that mean?
It means being able to say, here's who I am. Here's the messy house. Here's the marriage that has beautiful seasons and tough, tough seasons. Here are the kids who do really great things and also fail and fall. Here's the career that has ups and downs. Here's the beauty of my face, and here are the stretch marks and bruises. This is all of me. Every part of this is my story. And when we orphan any part of that story, we destroy our wholeness. And so in order to make ourselves whole, we have to bring all these stories together to be one person with light and darkness.
Absolutely. I mean, the spirit of this conversation is really the whole spirit of the Neda'a show, is how to encourage people to have, honest conversations, the uncomfortable conversations. But it's the only way towards our own freedom and inner freedom,
right?
And inner joy.
Joy,
absolutely.
That worthiness, I'm worthy of love, belonging, and joy.
Absolutely,
yeah,
absolutely. And I'm so grateful for you. Thank you so much.
I'm grateful for you too.
Thank you, and I'm excited about your new book, Rising Strong, which is very exciting, actually. Thank you so much.
Maybe we'll get to talk about that one too.
I would love that. Maybe you'll come to the Middle East for that.
I would love that.
I would love that. Fantastic.
Thank you for what you're doing. It's brave and important. It's a conversation that needs to happen.
Thank you.
You bet.